Una has been shearing sheep for years. In fact, it's her job. And it wasn't until last year the idea to attempt a world record became a reality.
Matt said then, you need to do a world record before you retire, Una, and I just laughed. And he was very serious, and then I went down to another world record holder who gave me a play on his sheep to see if I was fast enough in the kind of July time, and discovered that I was actually fast enough to do a world record. And then it was decided that that was it, we were going to do a world record, and the date was picked.
Shearing a sheep is no mean feat. Una makes it look easy, but it needs physical strength and skill.
I started physically training for it, because I was in quite a bad shape at that point. I've lost 20 kilos since I started training for this record, so I was unfit. And I used to shear in a sling that supported my back, which I wasn't allowed to use on record day, so that was taken off me straight away, which made for some very painful, sad, long days, but you got used to it. And I was having to go to the gym in the morning before work. It's mentally and physically challenging, because you've got to think about where you put in your feet to hold the sheep, because basically your legs and your feet hold the sheep in the correct position. Your arms are there to maybe steady it at different parts, but most of the time your right hand's just steering the handpiece round the sheep, and the left hand's pulling the skin tight. The rest of it you're doing with your legs and your feet.
The former women's record for the 9-hour wool ewe was 458, set in February in New Zealand. But this wasn't the only record broken this month. The men's 8-hour lamb world record was also broken and now stands at 764. The day, though, couldn't have come at a worse time for Una, as she was also suffering with the flu.
I'd managed to eat, because that was my biggest thing. If you can't eat, a lot of people can't eat on record day because of the stress and the nerves and everything else. And I thought, God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat or not. But I was managing to eat, so I thought, well, that was good.
The day was broken up into sections, allowing for scheduled meal breaks, with some worse than others.
And I did get told that this is the no man's land run, because you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And it was actually my worst, well, apart from the last run where I was exhausted, I felt that this was the worst run of the day, and I started to cramp up a little bit. In the last run I was just running out of energy. I'd given it all, I had nothing left to give. They announced apparently when I did 500, but I didn't hear them, because in the last, I think it was about the last 15 minutes, I asked Matt, how many more do I need for 500? And he says, oh, you've passed it. You're all right, keep going. So I saw, that's all right then.
Una sheared with a photo of her dad, who passed away in 2019, pinned to the wall next to her. And her 81-year-old mum also travelled down to Cornwall from the Scottish borders to cheer her on. And Una also had a year to prep her lucky, or not unlucky, caps.
I wore a different bandana each run. They were all the same colour, but I wore a different bandana each run. And when I bought them, I wore them at work to check that they weren't unlucky, because I have got certain bandanas and everybody's like, why have you still got them? And I'm like, because I keep hoping they'll become unlucky. And I have certain bandanas, if I chuck it on, I have a really bad run and I get beaten up by sheep every time I wear it, and I think, it's this bandana. So I checked that all 5 bandanas for the run and the socks that I wore weren't unlucky.
She's taken a few days off to recover from the flu, but next week she'll be back to the day job, shearing sheep, but this time under less stressful conditions. Isla Todd, ITV News.